My name is Vicki Smith, and I'm the Executive Director of Disability Nights North Carolina. And I'd like to welcome you all of our friends who have joined us this evening. It's a great turnout. This is a really wonderful venue, and welcome to Durham, all you people from Raleigh who don't get to Durham very much. Great restaurants just a couple streets over, some of the best eating in the Triangle. The Durham City Council told me to say that. So I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to all of our sponsors, and I'm going to have to read them because there's so many. Their generosity made it possible for all of us to come together to celebrate 3 outstanding advocates for people with disabilities. We had several layers of sponsorship. Our platinum champions, which I've learned by going to receptions is more valuable than gold. So our platinum champions are the Amera Group and Copley Johnson and, boy, I'm going to get this wrong, Leo. Grosvenor? Is that Groniger. Sorry, I should have checked that out before. My apologies. Our gold champion is Beth Garris-Hardy, our former chair. Our silver champions are William Allen with Avison Young. It used to be Grubb and Ellis. They changed their name. Steve Bird with the HCW Employee Benefits Service. Campbell University School of Law. Easter Seals UCP of North Carolina and Virginia. Farah and Camario, PA, and Patterson Harkavy. Am I butchering all of these names?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Elaine was supposed to write in the pronunciation. It must be Elaine's fault, not mine. Our bronze champions are Bloomfield Hills Insurance Agency, Kathy Boyd, Ken Butler, Annalise Dolph, April Giancola and Scott Conklin, Iris and Joseph Green, Ginny Hilton, Amy Jones, Jessica Keith, who is new to North Carolina. She's our new ADA specialist. Jessica, she said, we've been waiting. And she started off her stay here with obviously a good demonstration of judgment. Vera Luck, Cheryl Malloy, the National Association of Social Workers, North Carolina chapter, Ken Rose with the Center for Death Penalty Litigation, Jana Sigler, Aaron Smith, Beth Trevor and Jonah Liebert, Jane Weddick, and Elaine Whitford. Thank you all. I'm going off script just a little bit. We have several disability rights employees, and I'd like them all to raise their hand because really they set the bar for effective advocacy. Thank you to the staff of Disability Rights, and we also have several board members here, and I'd like to have each of our board members stand or wave their hand. So every day, the people that I just introduced, the staff and the board of directors and our PAMI advisory council members, Marsha Roth, here for them, work with citizens of our state who dedicate their lives creating and protecting opportunities for people with disabilities in North Carolina to live full and satisfying lives. It's truly an honor for us to recognize a few of them each year. Each of this year's award recipients have advocated to establish and improve fundamental systems that are key to an independent life for people with disabilities. Assisting me in presenting the awards this evening is first Iris Green. Iris is our senior attorney with Disability Rights North Carolina and the team leaders of our kids team. Iris?
Woo, Iris! Good evening. As a person with Down syndrome, Jeremy Donohue has faced low expectations and discrimination all of his life. Jeremy set aside stereotypes by doing what many people assume he could not do. He attended college, is employed, and lives on his own. Through his advocacy and the advocacy of others, the University of North Carolina at Greensboro started the Beyond Academics program. And this is a program that offers people with intellectual disabilities the opportunity to participate in the college experience in an inclusive environment. And as a member of the first class in Beyond Academics, Jeremy was a pioneer. During Jeremy's 4 years in college, he lived with other college students. He got to know the campus and learned to live independently. Jeremy lived alone in his own apartment during the last year of college. The Beyond Academics program was not initially accepted by the larger university community. When the program first started, one university staff member said that a competitive college was not the place for those people. Other staff members quietly shared the same bias, and many advocates were outraged and they were angered by the erroneous preconceptions and fought to convince the university community of the importance of Beyond Academics. Jeremy never tried to convince the naysayers with eloquent words or threats. Instead, he advocated by simply making friends and demonstrating his many abilities. Beyond Academics is now an accepted part of the university community, and it grows every year. Where eloquent arguments failed, Jeremy's style of self-advocacy won the day. It is easy to forget that most effective advocacy often comes in the form of a person with a disability living an ordinary life in the community. In May of 2011, Jeremy and 7 other classmates graduated and traded their student ID cards for UNCG alumni cards. After graduating from Beyond Academics, Jeremy joined the workforce as a truck loader for a retail store. It was a job he appreciated, but he did not find it fulfilling. Jeremy likes working with people. He approached the management of a Japanese restaurant and he asked that he be hired as a door greeter. The manager told him that the restaurant did not have a greeter position. Jeremy then offered to volunteer his time as the restaurant's greeter. The manager reluctantly agreed. Jeremy showed up for work for the first night dressed in a kimono top and handed out business cards and origami kimonos. Halfway through his first shift, the manager decided that Jeremy's idea was good for the restaurant and decided to pay him. So Jeremy is now an accepted member of the restaurant's family, and after demonstrating his capabilities, his role as the restaurant has greatly expanded. Jeremy's actions demonstrate the power of self-advocacy. He was not going to take no for an answer, and he took steps necessary to show the restaurant staff how valuable an asset he could be. Jeremy was nominated for the award by his good friend Michael Murray. Michael said, and I quote, "Jeremy Donohue is an amazing man and my best friend. He is full of joy and love. He is dynamic and charismatic. When my friend walks into a room, that joy is contagious. Once you know Jeremy, you can imagine a world without him," end quote. Today, Jeremy lives in his own apartment in Winston-Salem. He hangs out with his friends, attends a local church, participates in the community theater, and he goes to work. Please join me in congratulating Jeremy Donohue as one of this year's champions for equality and justice.
I said, Dad, I love you. Into my heart. And Mom, I love you.
Presenting our second award this evening is Chris Trottier. Chris is a senior attorney for Disability Rights North Carolina and is a team leader for our education team.
Ellen has a long history of supporting and advancing the rights of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. She began her career as a volunteer board member with the local ARC chapter and became executive director of the ARC of Orange County. She later joined the ARC of North Carolina as the director of advocacy and chapter services. In her nomination, Jane spoke of Ellen as the consummate advocate. Ellen believes that all people have the right and the ability to live in their local communities. As primary author of the ARC's 2007 publication titled Life in the Community, a Roadmap for System Success, Ellen created a vision for supports and services that would allow people to live in their home communities. Ellen's work with the ARC's housing resource coordinators demonstrates that she is a champion for choices, working to ensure that people have a real choice about where they live and with whom they live. Throughout her career, Ellen has been actively involved with promoting health and wellness for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Ellen has served as the ARC's representative on numerous disability and health advisory committees. She's worked to guarantee that the voice of families and people with disabilities is heard by the states who are responsible for implementing programs designed to promote healthcare responsibilities for people with disabilities. Ellen's 10-year-plus leadership for the Special Needs Federation also demonstrates her commitment to equality and justice for students with special needs. She is focused on protecting the rights of students needing special education services and was a strong proponent for laws protecting students from seclusion and restraint. As a leader, she is the voice of Special Needs Federation, and she has communicated over the years with all kinds of state officials about the need to improve educational services for all students with disabilities. The many advocates and self-advocates Ellen has mentored may be her greatest contribution to our state. Ellen has accomplished this through training and supporting advocacy and self-advocacy. She also serves as a role model to so many of us who are working to see that people with disabilities are valued citizens of our state. On a personal level, as the parent of a child having special needs, Ellen has been a tireless advocate for her daughter, Emily. She's made sure Emily has been included in full experiences of life. Now in her 30s, Emily is enrolled. I'm going by the script here. Emily is enrolled in Beyond Academics at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. I'm off script now. On another personal level, I have had the honor and pleasure of working with Ellen for many years. She embodies the true qualities of a champion. She's tenacious, she's gracious, and she's committed, as well as modest about all the contributions and her achievements. Please join me in congratulating Ellen Russell.
Thank you so much. This is a huge honor for me. First of all, being recognized for doing something you love to do is, and getting an award for it, is kind of an amazing and overwhelming event. Getting an award from Disability Rights North Carolina is about as good as it gets. It just is, yeah. It's an organization that is committed to protecting the rights of people with disabilities, and it just is the best you could get. And I'm touched and honored by that. I look around the room at all of the advocates who are here, every one of you, so many of you who I have worked with and learned so much from. I want to say thank you to all of you. I want to say thank you to Dave, who has been a teacher and a mentor and a friend over these years. And my
co-workers have heard this before, but I'm going to tell you that I've been with the ARC for 16 years now. And about a month after I started, I went out and got lunch and went to a Chinese restaurant, came back and opened my fortune cookie, and it said, "You are going to be offered the opportunity of a lifetime. Say yes." And I thought, oh, I should have gotten this cookie a few weeks ago. Because it was the offer of the job at the ARC of North Carolina, and I'm so glad that I was smart enough to say yes before the cookie.
Presenting our final award this evening is Susie Pollitt. She is also a senior attorney with Disability Rights North Carolina.
Good evening. I'm presenting the award to Steven Webster. Steve had first worked at Dorothea Dix Hospital while he was in divinity school as a student clinical chaplain. He took the job then as a healthcare technician and earned an award in 1985 as Healthcare Technician of the Year for the state of North Carolina. Over the years, Steve held many other positions at Dix and was a member of the Dorothea Dix executive staff. Along the way, he earned the Certified Psychiatric Rehabilitation Practitioner credential with the U.S. Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association. Steve directed a group of extremely dedicated hospital staff that implemented the treatment mall design at Dorothea Dix Hospital. Treatment malls are centralized programming areas away from residential units where patients and staff go for a significant portion of the day to give and receive treatment, education, skills training, and support. The ultimate goal of a treatment mall is to evolve a culture of recovery. Program participants named their treatment mall the Learning Court. The Learning Court offered groups and classes in coping skills, pathways to recovery, understanding medications, GED, career development, peer support, and music skills, to name a few. At the Learning Court, participants went from being patients in a psychiatric hospital to being students, program developers, musicians who played for a band, or workers who got paid for a job. At the Learning Court, participants learned how to write letters, grievances, and petitions and express their concern in an effective manner. Patients discharged from Dix left with an improved self-image and self-advocacy skills. Many former patients are now peer advocates in the community. Some are employed in that capacity, and some now advocate at the General Assembly or give presentations on mental health recovery. All will tell you that they learned their skills from the programs at the Dix Learning Court. Steve shares his work with inpatient treatment malls through published papers in peer-reviewed professional journals, workshops, and presentations. He provides facility-specific technical assistance nationally to numerous state hospitals. Steve was instrumental in creating the Quality Council at Dix in 2003. The Quality Council was a peer representation and decision-making body. The council was open to any interested program participant and was an official subcommittee of the hospital's clinical management team. Patients who used to stay on wards with nothing to do were now able to partner with hospital management to share ideas, communicate concerns, and have input into programming. Hundreds of patients participated as quality members over the years. Members prided themselves in learning about and staying up to date on the latest recovery research and stories of hope from others in recovery. The council used its knowledge to develop training presentations for staff and peers and provided consultation to other hospitals. Dix managers, peers, and community support organizations. Family days at Dix were filled with music, education, program tours, food, and games. And family members could participate with their loved ones in meaningful and fun activities off the wards. Steve worked to establish the Learning Court as a preferred training site for law enforcement and crisis intervention training, or CIT. Over time, program participants held dialogues and conducted tours with hundreds of law enforcement officers in our state. Thanks to Steve, for the first time in the history of Dorothea Dix, the State Protection and Advocacy Agency, Disability Rights North Carolina, was able to give presentations to patients and staff on recognizing abuse and neglect and exploitation, self-advocacy tips, and rights as patients in a psychiatric hospital. The PNA had earlier tried to participate in a treatment mall in this manner, but we had reached resistance. So we thank you, Steve.
Woo! Yeah.
When Dorothea Dix closed, Steve took the same program concept and implemented it at Cherry Hospital very, very recently. The Quality Council at Cherry conducted a contest and named their treatment mall Hope and Wellness Center. The program has collaborated on a variety of projects with Disability Rights North Carolina, NAMI, and local management entity out there, ECBH, or East Coast Behavioral Health. At Cherry, Steve was instrumental in establishing the first full-time, on-staff, certified peer support specialist at a North Carolina state hospital. A recent Joint Commission survey identified the Hope and Wellness Center as a leading practice. Steve is at his best when he's working in equal partnership with patients, supporting and teaching them, as well as learning from and being supported by them. It is no secret that Steve eagerly shares credit for his accomplishments with many staff and patients for whom he's been privileged to work with. That's what he would say. Karen Murphy, who nominated Steve for this award, said, and I quote, "One doesn't hear of many good things coming from mental health these days. But Steve is a breath of fresh air for a positive future for some of our state's hardest to treat mental health patients." Please join me in congratulating Steve as one of this year's champions for equality and justice.
Thank you. It's quite an honor. I just wanted to say that I believe there's no way that I can deserve this award on my own, because the truth of the matter is that program development and culture transformation in the state hospital takes the work of many, many people over long periods of time. And so I really share this award with all of the folks, consumers, providers, and consumers who are providers, with whom I've had the privilege of working over the years. So thanks to Disability Rights North Carolina for the partnership that I've been able to have with them, and once again, quite an honor. Thank you.
So now I'm off script because Elaine didn't write anything for me to say.
That's when you do the best.
Right. I think that one of the things that runs, there's a common theme here amongst the people who were recipients of this award tonight. And that really has to do with the courage to act. And that's what a champion is someone, in spite of all odds, has the courage to stand up, to speak the truth, and demand fairness on behalf of their fellow man. Disability Rights North Carolina's tagline is Champions for Equality and Justice, and as such, it should be our privilege to recognize those people who stand behind us and beside us as champions for people with disabilities. I think someone said that it takes a village to raise a child. And we know, looking across this room and some of the changes that must be made for services for all people with disabilities, that we have a huge task before us. But when I come to events like this, and I stand with people like you, I know that we can, in fact, together and collectively, make a difference and improve the quality of life for all people with disabilities. Disability Rights North Carolina has, as many people know, is a little over 5 years old. We're still learning, we're still growing. We have made tremendous accomplishments in those 5 years, and we have a tremendous amount of work to be done before you, before us, and before you. I think that one reason why this is off script is to see how well I'll do, making a direct ask for your support of Disability Rights North Carolina. We need your financial support in order to sustain our growth and to grow into our future responsibilities. And so I would ask you to consider making a donation to Disability Rights. We have some cards up here, and we like gimmicks, fundraisers like gimmicks. So this is a packet of Forget-Me-Not, so that you don't forget who we are. But also, I think it's a symbolic, because these are seeds, and what we are doing is planting the seeds for the future, which all of us who care and love someone with a disability want to see develop. So thank you for coming tonight. And next year, make sure that you nominate the person that you think might deserve an award. Thank you so much for coming.